Hello everybody! Welcome back once again to the Lost Odyssey walkthrough. Alright, so I realized that I need to head back. We're missing a... I think it's something up in the next screen. Yeah, the second part of the... what is this? Yeah, Crimson Forest. Okay. Let's just... Just when we thought we were done. We are not. Look at that thing. That looks creepy. I don't like that sword. Yep, I don't know. I'm not digging that. Alright, well, too bad though, because it's really good. What do we go for first here? I don't know. We can try the silver kilolon and herb seed of terror. Have an element? I guess not. Oh, water. Water, water, water. Hang on one second here. Okay. Earth. You need to do earth damage. Oh, perfect. And reduces casting time. Oh, hang on. Jansen. Ground. Skill. Casting support. Jansen. Oh, miss. Jesus. Oh, look at that. Okay. Nope. I was nowhere near. Let's see here. Ba-dum-bum. Okay, so he's got more than twice that for health, so there was no way I was gonna get that guy killed. Attack. I could do something like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think a way to get one of those down. I mean, the only thing I can think of also is like if they wouldn't run away on the first turn, then I might be able to do it, but if I could do like equip some magic on, yeah, I don't know. We'll take a look here. Take a look at what I can do after this. If I could do like a you know, equip black magic on Seth and use casting support on her, I could probably hit it with 2 spells in 1 turn, but I just still don't know if that'd be enough. Seth learned critical heal. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, let's get that moved off of her then. Let's concentrate. Reduce the spell cast. Oh. Oh. Huh. Yeah. Let's, casting support. Yeah, I don't know. There might be a way to pull that off. Let's just concentrate. Let's do level 2 white black. Concentrate. Reduces the spell casting time of the user. Okay. Casting support. Well, I'll try to do a casting support from Kaim onto her. Okay, and I need to take that item off. We're never getting into crit stuff. HP recovery critical. Oh. I wonder if I could go into battle low on health, or if crisis concentration needs to trigger during the battle. Yeah, that might be a way to get around it too. What was that? Sage's protection. Crisis concentration. Yeah, I don't know. I might be able to pull it off with that too. Let's get this on him though. Treasure glasses. Wow, okay, I've had these equipped. Alright. Huh, yeah, I don't know. Crisis concentration. Crisis concentration. Do I have this on? Must be yelling down here. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so let's try these two. Just trying to get like every little way to get some magic speed going. We'll see if that'll work. I really want to try to get one of those down. Yeah, here we go. Fresh. Looks like that's spirit magic, huh? Let's see here. Let's have a look. Refresh. Slightly recovers the HP of a row of party members. That's pretty cool. If it's strong. Uh-oh. Did I screw up? I'm gonna go back up there. that's what I thought. Alright. Well, now I know for sure. Looks like we got one more spot to go visit in this part of the forest. Plum, 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 plum. No. Come on, Silver Killalong. Yep, there he is. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Spell the casting time of the user. No. Casting time for one party member. Let's use that on Seth. We will use Ground on him. Mac. I don't think I can. Casting time 1H. That's probably not gonna go off in time. Ground on the Killalong. And then casting support on Jansen. Yeah, Mac's not gonna get his spell off in time before that thing runs, but that's okay. Ba-dum-bum. Oh, did that thing already leave? Oh no, he didn't. Oh, howie. Huh, okay, so he's stuck around for a turn. Hang on a second, what happened here? Ground. Well, I probably should have used Minda on somebody instead. But at this point, I might as well just use that. Ground. Oh, I got him! Sick. Alright, cool. Huh. Why are Kaima not and Cook not getting turns? Very strange. Yeah, what the hell? Oink. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but after using casting support. Oh, is that permanent? Like, once you use that, do you just not get turns again or something? Alright, Kaim learn counter. Mac learn level 3 spirit magic. Okay, Seth learn counter. Okay, well, that was cool. Man, does that really just like give your turn to the your other character until, I don't know, that just seems crazy. Well, I don't need that for sure. Let's see here. Max MP up. Don't need that. Yuck. Oh, counter. Yeah, this doesn't do me any good if I don't. Yeah, okay, we don't need to do that. What does he have? Okay. Let's go back to probably Angel Hearts. Earth resistance up. That actually is pretty useful. Crisis concentration. Let's do Crisis defense boost and okay. That looks pretty solid. Oh. Okay, skill link. Okay, power hits. Power of damage. Consecutively attacks one enemy twice in a row. Yeah, we're gonna learn combo next. And don't need that anymore. She's not done with that. Okay, wow, that man, intense stuff here. Okay, finally, moving on. Oh, and then I didn't even really check out how much experience I got. Allegedly, you get a decent amount, though, from those guys. What are Seed of Terrors for? Let me just see here. Apparently, they drop them. Oh, look at this. Draining Ring. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. Shockwave. Sleep Ring. Sandman Seal. Fear Ring. Seed of Terror. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Seed of Terror. So, occasionally causes terror. That sounds cool, but I don't really know what that means. I don't know what... yeah. Inflict significant damage on spirit and magic enemies. Excuse me. Okay, let's knock some towers down. Healing potion. Okay, so I'm just assuming this is a fight right here, right? Because of all this purple, yeah, bullshit. Yeah, I'll say. Okay. Alright, let's seal this guy up. And... okay, there's really no reason to do anything with her. Oh, I guess I could have cast some black magic. I don't know why. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Sorry, pal. Curse you slower. Should watch that movie again. Thinner. Is that I think that's a Stephen King? Ah, so good. Let's do... What are these guys weak against? Element wind. Wind. Fire versus wind, or is it wind versus fire? Man. Let's see here. We need to take the, keep a list up of the weaknesses. Oops. Elements. I'm old. I can't remember what's works against what. All right. So what did I say these things were? Element wind. So we need fire. Okay. So fire versus wind. Fire is good against wind, I should say. And let's use prayer on Seth. Man, I should really give her steel again, because she's really not doing anything right now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really need her just using prayer every turn, honestly, because that just isn't that great and useful for turns. I mean, at least if I can steal something every once in a while, that would be nice. Sorry, pal. Seth learned relax. Girl, you gotta relax. Alright, let's get her equipped with something else then. Oh, man, we're almost done. For learning stuff via equipment, anyway. What did I say I was gonna do? Cook. Needs the thief bracelet. Yeah, I'm just, I'm not really casting much. I guess that's the other thing that I could have been doing, actually, though, is still casting some black magic with her, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay, now we need to go back. Part of me says it would be safe or faster to just run to the north and go that way again, but I don't know if that's actually the case. So I'm just gonna run back out this way. And I suppose if we get into another fight, it's not the end of the world. Speeda increases the speed of one party member? What? Well, let's do this on Jansen. Ground on that guy. And let's do casting support on Jansen. Oh, got him. Get it. Oh. Boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum. Kill him. Oh. Missed it by that much. Yeah, see ya. Alright, so let's see here, balloon. Attack. Yep. Wow. So casting support just makes whoever's using casting support, they just don't act after that. That's kind of wild. What a waste of time. It's kind of funny, actually. A guy complaining about, something being a waste of time, even though he's an immortal. Oh yeah, okay, nothing here. Alright. Clump, 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 clump. The Maze of Gloom. Alrighty. Back here again. Back to where we started. How's our time looking like? Oh man. It's gonna feel really bad if I don't at least leave this forest in this video. Yeah, there's a dream on the way out, and I'm just gonna do that right now, because this is... Yeah, that's kind of nuts. The battles take a long time in this, so... Alright. Kaim recalls a memory that was locked deep within his heart. The dream has been revealed. Alright, 1 second here. Okay, let's dream. Okay, so this one is called Elegy Island. This happened long ago. A small island which has since perished. They had an odd custom. They mourned their dead with song, the elegies. The songs would play without ceasing from the last moments before death, through the funeral to the burial. Elegies would be sung for many purposes: to ease the grief of the family, to recall the legacy of the deceased, to appease the soul of one who died under stressful circumstances, to celebrate one person's having lived to a ripe old age, or to evoke anger at another's pointless death. There were no fixed melodies or lyrics. Apparently, the songs were sung without lyrics at all. No documents had survived, so all we can do is assemble oral histories, sighs the archaeologist as she views the island from the deck of the ship. The people of that island country had no writing system, which means they had no way to leave behind signs or evidence of their lives. I wish we could at least interview a few survivors, but there weren't any. Every single person was killed. The research team's archaeologist is a young woman in her 20s. Her country is the one that destroyed the island. It happened while her ancestors, 7 generations back, were still young people. I hate to badmouth my own country, she says with a shrug, but they really didn't have to go that far. That far is no exaggeration. Her country prided itself on its overwhelming military force. For it to gain mastery over the tiny island would have been as simple as twisting an infant's arm. But her country believed in oppressing its neighbors with force. The leaders were thinking more of those neighbors than of the island itself when it launched its all-out attack. The island was a mere object lesson. It was scorched from end to end. Every human being on the island, from newborn babies to elders on the verge of death, was killed without mercy. It's odd, though, says the young woman with a grim smile. There are hardly any records left from that time, even in our country. I suppose what they did was so terrible they didn't want their descendants to know about it. Her remark prompts some older scholars on board to clear their throats, at the sound of which she snaps her mouth shut. Sorry, she whispers. You're not much older than I am. You probably don't want to hear all about this old stuff anyway. I do, though. What interest can a sailor like you have in those boring academic matters? Kaim only shakes his head in silence. Suddenly, things become very busy on deck. The boat is approaching the island and has entered a stretch of intricate channels where the skills of the crew will be tested. The boatswain calls out Kaim. Oh, I'm sorry, the woman says. I shouldn't be monopolizing your time. You've got work to do. Even as she apologizes, the talkative young archaeologist asks Kime, "Do you mind if I ask you one last question?" "Please, ask away," he replies, stopping in his tracks. She looks around to make sure no one is listening and whispers, "I'm sure this is your first time taking a research team over." "Uh-huh." "And your first time going to the island?" "Well, yes." "So you probably don't know about some of the bad stories they tell about this place, that some scholars who go there fall under a curse, like they get sick while doing their research on the island, or they become mentally unstable after they get home. I've heard some even killed themselves." "You mean a long time ago, right?" "Right. This is the first research trip in 50 years. Up to then, every time they sent out a team, one or two of the members would suffer the curse. This is why they put a stop to them all these years, so I'm a little scared myself." She sends a mock shudder through her body. "I just thought I'd ask if you could teach me some magic spell for getting back safely." Kime looks straight at her, not merely taking in her appearance, but searching for the person deep inside. "You'll be fine," he says. "You think so?" "I'm pretty sure you'll be okay." She looks at him questioningly. If you hear singing, though," he adds, "hum along with it." "What do you mean?" she asks, her expression increasingly uneasy. But Kime says nothing more. "Get over here now, mister," the boatswain shouts at Kime, who heads for his station. He did tell the woman one white lie, though. This is not his first time coming to the island. He has been here many times before. His first trip happened a long, long time ago. The archaeologist said the island's elegies had no fixed melody or lyrics. They were all sung extemporaneously and never repeated. 100 deaths required 100 elegies. Nor did mourners agree in advance on the nature of their elegy before they started singing. At first, each would sing his or her own song, expressing his or her own feelings about the deceased. Eventually, the jumble of songs would come together into a single melody without any one singer taking the lead. In the culture of this island that had no writing, there was, of course, no musical notation. There were no instruments for accompaniment either. Each mourner, in grieving for the loved one, would give voice to hopes for a peaceful last journey, and a song would emerge. Kime's travels first brought him here when the island was at peace, which is to say, centuries ago. He happened to arrive just after the death of a village elder. For 3 days and nights, an elegy was sung around the clock. The island people's song, which took the darkness and reverberated all across the clear blue daytime sky, left its mark with a certain ennobling comfort in the breast of Kime, a man for whom fate had decreed that no one would ever sing an elegy. To think that such an island had been burned to the ground. The people fled in all directions at once and were murdered one at a time. It was an absolute bloodbath. Kime knows about the atrocities that accompanied that butchery, things that were not handed down to the generation of the young archaeologist. Had it wished to, the woman's country could have taken control of the island in a single night, but instead it used its military power to chase down each of the island's inhabitants over a period of several days, as if carefully filling in the blank spaces in a coloring book. The island became enveloped in elegies. At first, while the living still outnumbered the dead, voices in elegiac song all but shook the island with their volume. As the days went by, however, and the dead came to outnumber the living, the sobbing voices in song grew even fainter. When the battle reached its final phase, the few remaining islanders who had been cornered in the island's northern tip fled into a large cave. They resigned themselves to death. All that was left for them to do was pray that they might be allowed to die with some degree of peace. But even this small measure of hope they were unable to wring from their attackers. The army of the archaeologist's country went for maximum brutality. They entered the cave with every weapon at their command, and they dragged out and killed one islander per day. Today it was an old man. The next day it was a young man. The day after that, they tortured to death a young mother with an infant at her breast. And the following day, the infant they tore from her arms was put to death. The elegies resounded without interruption. The singing voices that escaped the cave invaded the ears of the soldiers who were carrying on the massacre. These soldiers with kind hearts collapsed one after another, or they went mad and left the front line. Song was the final weapon of the islanders, who had no other means to fight. They went on singing as they struggled against starvation, thirst, and their own fears. The commanding officer of the anti-insurgency force ordered his men to fill in the mouth of the cave. If they buried the people alive, he thought, the singing would no longer be audible. Nevertheless, faint singing continued. It went on day after day. Rainy days, clear days, daytime, nighttime, it continued, but no longer without breaks, which gradually increased in length. The singing went beyond being an elegy for a single person and became a song suffused with the sorrow of all the living things on the island. About the time the season ended, the last thin thread of singing died out. The army left the island. Not a single record of these military operations was left. Never again did anyone come to live on the island. The first research team in 50 years is plagued by difficulties. One scholar after another collapses. Almost every day, someone is sent out to the vessel anchored offshore sick. All of the scholars moan with pain, blocking their ears. The situation is exactly what it was before the island was shut off from research. Kime knows exactly what is happening. The ocean breeze sweeping across the island sounds like a song. The branches swaying in the forest sound like a song. The birds in the trees sound like a song. The babbling of a brook sounds like a song. The treading of boots on piled up fallen leaves sounds like a song. The crashing and receding of waves on the shore sounds like a song. The elegy for the island that people sang with every last bit of life they could dredge up from inside themselves now was being sung by the island itself. Please stop, I beg you, please stop. The scholars cry out in their delirium, covering their ears. I don't know what we did. It was our ancestors, not us. The scholars who moan hear anger and sorrow in the constantly resounding elegy. What they say is true. It is not their fault. But they have been given no knowledge of what happened on this island so long ago. Sometimes not knowing can be a profound sin. They should prick up their ears and listen all the more. That is what Kime has always done. The elegy being sung by the island is not merely hurling hatred and anger at them. The island is not trying to torture members of the younger generation like them who are without sin. Rather than blocking their ears, they should listen. If they do so, the message will reach them. For the island is telling them, you must know the truth. You must know what actually happened on this island so long ago. The investigation ends much earlier than originally planned. Most of the research team have returned to the ship, their health broken, and some of the more seriously ill members have been sent home. It is no longer possible to continue the work. The young archaeologist who spoke to Kime on the way in is one of the few who have persevered to the end. Thanks to you, she says to Kime. As soon as she climbed from the launch into the ship, she saw Kime standing on deck and hurried over to him. She looks haggard, but her fatigue is clearly less physical than mental. Still, her eyes harbor a strong-willed gleam. Did you hear the singing? He asks. I did, she says with a nod, looking back at the receding island. It was so sad. Just as he had thought, she was able to open herself to the sadness. Did you sing along with it? Yes, I did that too. Partly because of what you said to me, but I also found myself humming the same tune quite naturally. Kime nods and smiles at her. This is the first time he has encountered anyone with a heart to hear the island's elegy. This time, when I get home, she says, I want to do some more serious research on the war. It's something I have to do. I almost feel I don't have any choice in the matter. I'm glad to hear that, he says. I might turn up some facts that my country finds inconvenient, but I feel it is absolutely necessary to learn the truth, to know what actually happened. The ship emerges into the open sea. A single white bird flies out from the island as if seeing the ship off on its journey. Tracing a great arc against the blue sky, it releases one high, ringing cry. No longer an elegy, this is a song of joy and forgiveness, signaling the dawn of a new age. End. Boy, so I mean, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it strikes me as a similarity between the history of the United States, and slavery here. And also, I suppose essentially the genocide of the Native Americans. So, again, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that is what that reminded me of. All right, but I am way out of time, so as always, I hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thank you for